Now we're going to look at multiplying a polynomial by a polynomial. Typically it's a polynomial by a binomial, but it doesn't really matter. The same rules are going to apply. We're going to distribute, same thing as I said in the last video, we're going to distribute all terms from one of the polynomials into the other one. Of course, with distribution, we use multiplication. And again, it's usually easier to take the small one and put the small one into the large one. We'll combine like terms if we can, and we'll write in standard form. So even though the polynomials are going to change, some are going to be big, some are going to be small, the rules or the steps aren't going to change. So let's look at the first example. So I can see here that I have a binomial. Oops, I'm actually not going to write on that. I have a binomial and I have a trinomial. 2 terms binomial, 3 terms trinomial. So I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to start with the x. I'm going to distribute the x to every term in the trinomial. Well, x times x cubed, add the exponents, is x to the 4th. X times minus 2x is minus 2x squared, add the exponents. X times 8 is 8x. Great, did that one. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that minus 7, sign belongs to the number, and distribute it to everything. Minus 7 times x cubed is minus 7x cubed. Minus 7 times minus 2x is plus 14x. Minus 7 times 8 is minus 56. Checking to see if I have like terms, no other x to the 4th, so I'm just going to drop it. I'm going to actually jump over to my next highest degree, my cube. No other cubes, so I'm just going to drop it. I'm going to bounce back to my x squared, no other x squared, so I'm just going to drop it. 8x and 14x, I can go ahead and add those together and I get 22x. And then my 56 is going to come down, my minus 56 is going to come down. I'm in standard form. I have no other like terms. It's a crazy long answer, but that's my simplified form in standard form, my simplified answer in standard form. Example 2, I'm going to do the same thing. Notice here, again, I have 1, 2, 3 terms trinomial, 1, 2 terms binomial. So I could distribute the trinomial into the binomial, but in my opinion, I just think it's easier. It feels to me like there's less to keep track of if I take the smaller one. So I'm going to take the binomial, although it doesn't, again, matter. So I'm going to first start with the 6x to the 5th and distribute it to everything. 6x to the 5th times 2x squared is 12x, add the exponent, 7. 6x to the 5th times minus 9 is minus 54x, add the exponents, 1 and 5 is 6. 6x to the 5th times minus 5 is minus 30x to the 5th. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the minus 4. Minus 4 times the 2x squared, minus 4 times the minus 9x, and minus 4 times the minus 5. Again, sign belongs to the number. Minus 4 times 2x squared is minus 8x squared. Minus 4 times minus 9 is plus 36, the x. Minus 4 times minus 5 is plus 20. Checking for like terms, I'm going to go ahead and say there aren't any other 7s. There aren't any other degree 6. There aren't any other degree 5. There aren't any others degree 2 or quadratic, so we call them by their number. If it's degree 1, we call it linear, it has a special term. Degree 2, we call it quadratic. Degree 3, we call it cubic. No variable, we call it constant. So just FYI. So now degree 1, or my linear term, no other linear terms. My no variable, or my constant term, no other constant terms. So I guess I really did not even need to rewrite that. I guess if I would have looked a little closer, I would have realized that the answer I got after multiplying was indeed my final answer in standard form. Okay, so notice that that's my last example, but I just want to point out I could have something like 3x to the 12 minus 4x cubed plus 2x squared minus x plus 7 times 18x to the 4th plus 9x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2. it would still work the same way. I would still take the 18x to the fourth, distribute it to everything. I would still take the 9x cubed, distribute it to everything. I would still take the minus 3x squared, distribute it to everything. I would still take the plus 2, distribute it to everything. It would be a huge, long answer with terms all over the place. But nothing would change. It's the same basic steps regardless of what type of polynomials we're dealing with. Now, am I going to give you something like that? Probably not. It seems to me like a waste of your time and my time to spend, for you to spend going through all of it and for me to spend going through and grading it. But notice that it really is the exact same process as we're doing up here. We can make our polynomials as big as we want. Same thing. Pick one to distribute into the other one. Combine like terms, write your answer in standard form. The biggest thing that people do here is they make mistakes when they're doing their multiplication. So make sure and double check those answers to make sure you didn't make a silly mistake with an exponent or a silly mistake with a number, or when combining like terms that you don't make a silly mistake with a sign.